But they didn't mention health insurance, which is interesting.
As one of the top 3 expenses.
Oh, okay.
As one of the top 3. Now, they did mention insurance, and I know that you're going to have some things to say about this just because you talked to me about the results that you're getting in your separate accounts from an HSA. One of the things that the people of the fire community talk about are HSAs, the health savings accounts.
Sure, yeah.
And they recommend funding an HSA, maxing out your contributions to an HSA,
right?
For many reasons. I think one of the top reasons are the taxation of the money. Man. So you're able to contribute pre-tax dollars to an HSA.
Right.
It's able to grow tax-free.
Yep.
And then for qualified medical expenses, you're able to withdraw that money without tax implications.
It's a beautiful thing.
So it's a beautiful thing, but the only requirement, if I'm not mistaken, is that you're enrolled in a high deductible healthcare plan.
Right.
Which a lot of people are today.
Correct.
And the requirements for a high deductible are pretty low compared to what deductibles I've seen.
Correct.
So a lot of people can take advantage of this.
Yeah, I mean, you can do a Google search on what the HSA requirements are and look at that plan, but I mean, my experience on it, because I appreciate everybody. You need to do this. If you have a chance to take a HSA plan and max fund it. Well, I've been doing this for a while, and so there's something particularly rewarding about taking, and I manage my own investments, and I mean, even if you don't, it doesn't matter. I mean, you're going to if you take that money, you can actually invest it. A lot of people don't know that. I use HSA Bank. They've been around for forever. I'm a fan of theirs, and so essentially, it's like a checking account, right? So I put the money in. I don't even know what the amount is anymore. $5,000 or $6,000 a year for our family.
I think for a couple, it's $6,900 now.
Okay, all right. So we put the money in. I always max fund it, and this becomes like a checking account. But the thing that I'm sure there are other people that do it, but I know the HSA Bank does it. That you can attach an Ameritrade account, which
TD Ameritrade.
And so that the money comes off and it comes into an investment account. It's like a brokerage account. And so you want to buy Apple, you want to buy Netflix, you want to buy whatever. And so when you do it and you take, I mean, it's just wonderful. You put the money in and you got a tax deduction. And so you put the money in, you get tax deduction. The money funnels through HSA Bank. It goes over into this brokerage account. And then you buy stock. And then that stock goes up and you make $1,000. And your kid has $1,000 medical bill. It feels really good to just go, that's fine. I just sell some of that stock I did this week. I'll just sell some and pay that medical bill. It's nice because you just pay that stock. The money flows right back through that HSA to the account. You have a debit card and but it's huge because people, like anyone who's actually looking at their budget and start looking at the amount of money they spend on things that are reimbursable. I think it's section, golly, this is a nerdy moment, 213D of the Internal Revenue Code that talks about healthcare expenses. Those are things that are reimbursable under a flexible spending account as well as a health savings account. It's a bunch of stuff. It's stuff that's related to your health or your wife's health or your kid's health or your mama's health, or like there's certain people inside your little family unit that you can pay for out of that. It's a big deal.
Yeah, one of the things I was looking at this week was the fact that most people use it as a savings account, right? And so they never actually tie it to a brokerage account and make any types of investments.
Right.
But then you're not taking advantage of the fact that all of your investment gains are tax deferred.
Oh, man.
Which is huge because you have
you
compounded rate of return. And the other thing that's a huge deal, which I was thinking about this week, I never knew this until this week. Mm-hmm. It's essentially like an HSA hack. And what it is placing your money in an HSA, investing the money. Some people buy and hold, right? They'll buy like an ETF, stocks like you mentioned, mm-hmm. maybe a high dividend yielding REIT of some sort if they want to have exposure to real estate. But when you read the fine print in the HSA, you're allowed to be reimbursed for medical expenses years and years and years and years down the road. It's not just this year.
Oh, sure.
So the hack is keeping track of your medical records and paying for your medical bills out of your own pocket and never touching the HSA money unless it's absolutely necessary.
Well, I was going to say something about that, especially when you're first starting. You want to put the money in. Don't use that money.
Right.
Don't use that money. That's money that can grow, and so that the earnings on that money pay all of your medical expenses. It's crazy good.
Yeah. So the hack is essentially letting it grow
Yeah.
tax deferred. And later on, if you need the money, you can still turn in the medical bill that you have scanned
Sure.
and put on a drive or in the
Right.
cloud. You can get your money back.
I think that
tax
you
free.
can also pay for long-term care expenses for your parents.
Now that is really important.
I'm pretty sure that you can do that.
That is really important.
Excuse me.
But a staggering amount of people who have an HSA are not tying it to a brokerage account and investing that money, and so therefore they're not taking
gotta do
advantage
that.
of one of the biggest perks of
Yeah,
an
man.
HSA.
You got to do that.
Because how many people are on a high deductible health care plan at this point?
A bunch.
A lot.
A bunch. And there's a lot of times that there's even an option. When you start looking at an option, like if you work for a big employer and there's two different options. You have a PPO plan that has a low deductible and you have this high deductible plan. But then when you start thinking about these things, if you actually are smart enough to actually do it, and great, you probably ought to take that one, even if this one's really attractive because of an employee contribution strategy or deductible or whatever. Maybe you even take that one.
I don't know enough about this to even talk about it intelligently, but I read about some insurance companies that allow you to enroll in a high deductible health plan, and if you use one of their preferred partners to open up like an HSA, they will actually contribute to the HSA as well.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like a premium pass-through, I think is the name for it.
Okay.
So they're actually contributing part of your premium into the HSA.
Yeah, you want, I don't know that term of it,
Yeah.
but you want to, anytime someone's willing. See, the great thing about it, there's 3 accounts in employee benefits. There's an FSA, an HRA, and an HSA. They're all 3 different. And there's no sense in going through all 3 of them, but they allow different tax advantage. But the one thing to know is that the HSA, from a personal perspective, is the one you own. That's your checking account. That's your money.